magic to hide. I have scaled ideas, buried a few, and which one survived. I built brands before algorithms, before funnels had names. Watch people confuse attention with equity, so lame. This is not opinion. Got results and recognition. You are here, you are not browsing. You are paying attention.
My mic. Let's try that again. It's Tuesday, and you know what it's time for, lunchtime learning with me, Stephanie D. McKenzie, your favorite fractional brand strategist, award-winning marketer, and all the things. And I have been wanting to do this live for quite some time. And so I'm excited that I'm able to share these things with you. I think we need to definitely talk about opportunities that are right in front of us. And listen, I do understand that I'm going to talk about Houston a lot today. But that doesn't mean that you have to be in Houston in order to seize these opportunities. So, hello to Facebook, hello to LinkedIn, hello to YouTube. Today, we're going to be talking about how, or if you can, use FIFA 2026, which is coming to Houston, as a real revenue possibility. Like, how can you do that? And I know a little something about this because in 2006, years ago, y'all. 20 years ago, Houston was the host of the All-Star Weekend, NBA All-Star Weekend, and I was able to pull off a huge, crazy event hosted by Shaquille O'Neal. And I'll get more into that as we get into this topic. But I really want to talk about how you can leverage FIFA based on that experience. So I'm not just making things up, guys. I really did it. So I'm going to take what I've done and what is possibly out there for you guys. If you're here, say hello. Catching it live, please say live. And those of you who later catch this on the replay, say replay. So before we get too far into this, listen, I always want to remind you that today's live stream is brought to you by Tractionista. Get your free audit at tractionista.com. It's also brought to you by the weight loss product Thinner, which you'll see an ad about that at the end. I did something really crazy today. I took $500 off, actually more than $500 off of our Founder Mind one-time payment. Why do you want that? Because it's a high-level, structured, dare I say, community of founders that allow you to come into a safe space where you can make decisions, you can make changes, whatever you need to do. There's accountability there. There's kind and consistent feedback. There's peers that get it. And so if you want to know more about what we're doing in Founder Mind, we're currently in an integration block right now, starting not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. Make sure you comment Founder to learn more. All right, I want to get into this. So let's get into this. So I truly feel, as with most things, that Houston businesses are leaving money on the table. And I really think that part of the reason why some people are going to miss out on the opportunity that FIFA is that too many businesses really think that this is only for hotels and bars and restaurants. And I will tell you, not having intimate knowledge of what happens around FIFA, but definitely pulling from that all-star experience, is that there's so many other things that go with that. Just like Afrotech. Afrotech will be coming later this year, I believe, coming back later this year. And at some point, we can talk about how you can leverage that as well. But it's not just for the hotels and the bars and the restaurants. There are some real opportunities here if you, open up your mind to what could happen. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. It's happening in June. I believe it's June 14th to July 1st. So if you're going to get on this thing, you want to get on it right now. And I want you to really think about, what is it that you do and how could this be of value to the person who is attending. All right. Now there's a couple of ways we can go. We can go to the celebrity part, right? And we can go to the consumer part. Right now, we're going to go to the consumer part because what we understand is that this is a large scale event. Much like rodeo, much like Afrotech, this is a large scale event. It is estimated there'll be 490,000 to 500,000 additional people. Lord, I hope they don't drive coming to these events. That's a lot of opportunity that's just sitting there waving at you from 610. So what does that mean? That means that your opportunity doesn't have to take the form of an event. It doesn't mean hurry up and go open a hotel. It doesn't mean any of those things. It means looking at what you actually do and what you offer right now and seeing if there's a way that you can tie in to what is happening. Well, it's soccer. I don't do soccer things, Stephanie. I'm like, that's not all that's happening. What is really happening is that the best of the best are converging on this city, right? There is a high level, high stakes championship event that is happening. So what does that mean for you? That means that you have the opportunity to say, you know what? There are people that are going to be sports enthusiasts. Some people are just going to love a particular player, particular team. Some people are just going to use this as an opportunity to come to Houston, which we know, please save the Houston hate, okay? Some of you rodeo people that came or that are coming here, you're doing too much, okay? Please stop it. We don't need that. We don't want that. But even if you do something as simple as apparel, is it possible that you now offer a shirt? Now, let me stop you right there. Let me go ahead, because what I don't want you to do is to engage in any type of copyright, trademark, or licensure infringement with FIFA or the soccer teams that are represented. I see this way too much. And this is hustle-minded behavior because you can't infringe on somebody's trademark and go make money, okay? Can you make something that's an original design? Like, I survived FIFA. You know, if you wanted to make a shirt that said that, don't use their logo. Okay. You could use the words, don't use their logo. But you could do that relatively safely. I see a lot of people, especially those of you that make t-shirts and products, you are leveraging people's trademarks and you are about, hold on, can I get it in camera? Close to a cease and desist. That is illegal. You cannot put Disney characters on your t-shirt. I see these commercials all the time on Facebook, somebody making these Disney themed purses. Do you have a contract? That is not okay. All right. So creating unauthorized products is a no. But if you had something really cool that you wanted to create and put on a t-shirt and sell it around that time because it aligns with the energy of athleticism and competition and championship, feel free. Do not infringe on people's trademarks. Don't do that. For those of you who are physically close to where the competition, where the World Cup will be held, you have a unique opportunity because if the opportunity still exists, and let's say you do food or you do anything, if you can get close to where those games are happening, if you can team up, and here's something else that I want you to be mindful of. If you can team up with somebody, you may not be the person with the food truck, but you might be the person who can negotiate some amazing deals. You might be the person that creates the official FIFA fry bucket. You know, it's large and maybe there's some sort of soccer design on it. It's a keepsake cup or something like that. You might be that. Additionally, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for conversation around athleticism and being the best. There's opportunities for learning, for teaching, for sharing. Like, don't sleep on it. Yes, we did an event. And that kind of went without saying, right? Event marketing. I own a marketing agency. We did an event. We absolutely did. But when I tell you that event was insane, that event was completely insane. But I want to tell you how we got there. because I think that's really important. I didn't end up doing an event with Shaquille O'Neal or for Shaquille O'Neal because I just love Shaquille. What happened was I sat back and I said, Stephanie, and Stephanie said, because sometimes I do talk to myself, and I said, All Star's coming. Yeah. That's basketball. There's some opportunities there. Maybe do a celebrity event. Yeah. Now I could have done a community event, right? But we chose to go the celebrity event route. And at that point, I engaged in a conversation with myself known as low hanging fruit. Low hanging fruit basically says, who do we know? And it just so happened that I was 2 degrees of separation from Shaquille O'Neal. That's how we got there. And that's the kind of thought processes I want you to have. Hey, FIFA is coming. Yep. There's going to be a lot of people. Yeah. I offer this. Could I make this valuable to FIFA spectators and possibly players? Yeah. Well, what does that look like? And then I want you to get really deep in thought, right? Because you don't need to become a soccer brand, right? This could be messaging, partnerships, themed offers, hospitality, customer experience. You could do any sort of a brand activation. It doesn't even have to be, and I believe it's going to be at NRG. It doesn't even have to be at NRG. It could be close. It could be across town. This may be an opportunity to engage in community events, to talk about how do we become the best. These are conversations that could happen. Again, when Afrotech comes to town, when All Star comes to town, when any large scale event comes to town, there are so many opportunities for everyone. And so if you're thinking, oh, we're not a soccer brand, oh, we don't do anything with athleticism, we don't do anything with sports, then you're going to miss the mark. You're going to miss the mark. And I'm going to ask you to think deeply about how you can collaborate. What could you do? And if you have the resources, reach out directly to the organization, reach out to FIFA. Hey, we know you're coming. What are the opportunities here? Is there something that we can sponsor? If you have resources to sponsor an official event, great, do it. If you want to talk to them about becoming an official event, do it. Now, is it possible that there are already events set up? Absolutely. Like you're not going to come in and be novel in that respect. But you can come in and be an addition to. Maybe you want to find out what's already been set up. You can reach out you can reach out around that aspect as well. Other opportunities that will exist are definitely going to be around transportation. And for those of you who have private transportation companies, this is your moment. Okay. I can almost like right hand, pinky swear, say that Lyft and Uber are going to have surge charges out the wazoo. But what happens if you commandeer space to set people up and they don't have to wait forever? Right? You have your processes and that's fine, but they don't have to wait forever. They get a better ride. Maybe they can. So this is your opportunity to innovate against the big guys if you can take it. Okay. Now remember, sometimes when you go head to head with a giant, remember they have greater resources. They just do, right? They have more volume. So they can afford to do things that you may not be able to do, but figure out where you can win. Where can you innovate? In fact, if you listen very closely to individuals who've gone to the rodeo, you can hear a lot of those complaints about transportation, even parking. What can you do about that? If anything, what can you do about that? For those of you who actually have inroads to celebrities, is there an opportunity to do a collaborative piece? Your celebrity and a soccer player. Like these are the types of questions I want to see you ask, because I don't want you to feel as if FIFA's coming to your city, you're a business owner, and there's no way for you to benefit from it. There's tons of ways for you to benefit from it if you're willing to think. Now, as I've said earlier, and I'll say it again, hustle-minded mindsets, hustle-minded pursuits, not cool. Thinking about how you can get over or how you can hit the lick or whatever, colloquialism you want to use for it. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about doing definitive business where there is a mutually beneficial exchange. That's what we're talking about. So if somebody in your head is like, yeah, you know what we can do, the mere fact that they say it like that should automatically give you pause. Okay. That's not working out. But we have, B2C opportunities, we have B2B opportunities. And if you're wanting to collaborate, right? I know there's going to be some community events that are around that because, people are going to be in the area. If you're in the area, what can you do? Or if you're not in the area, how can you get there? Is this the time for you to rent a tractor trailer and create some sort of a pedicure massage situation? People's feet are going to be tired from walking. It's still a walk, even if you have, even if you have the parking and all of that, it's still a walk. Is there a way for you to create some sort of decompression type of thing? I don't know. And it's June to July. It's going to be hot. So is there something that you can do? Is there something you can sell on site? Again, if you have the resources to really be on site, then that's awesome. And I don't want you to sleep on that, right? But if you don't, that does not mean that all is lost. There are community entities that will be doing things. Is something happening that you could be a collaborator on? I just want you to start thinking on a higher level. Because if you start thinking on a higher level now, you're going to start thinking on a higher level, period. And I think that's one of the challenges that business owners often have is that they think on this level, like whatever is palatable, whatever they can hold in their hands, they think on this level. And there's so many other levels, right? There's so many other levels. And so when I'm working with a client, especially, if you're a decision maker in your organization and I'm working with your organization, one of the things I'm looking at is I'm looking for opportunities. I'm looking for opportunities. Sometimes that means shifting the entire trajectory of how you've been operating. And listen, if I can be honest, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we have to dial that back. But part of the beauty of a growth season and being in growth stage, not scaling, I did a whole thing on stop saying that you're scaling, you're not scaling, you're growing and expanding. Part of growing is that you get to experiment. You get to see what works and what doesn't. You get to kind of go deeper, right? Because now you have team and you have extra hands and they can help you. And for those of you who have teams, and maybe you can't think. You're like, okay, this girl is on the internet. She's talking about FIFA. I don't know. Talk to your team. Talk to your team. They are resources. They have resources. But if you take all of it on you, then what? One of the things that I think is really like an unsung superhero of business is collaborators. And oftentimes we're not seeing a lot of collaboration because some people are not mentally healthy enough to be collaborators. And I'm just going to say that the way I said it, and I said it out loud. And if you want to disagree with me, you absolutely can. But we have a lot of people in business who are not mentally healthy. And I'm not just talking about founders and solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. I'm talking about leaders and organizations who haven't dealt with their traumas, who are insecure, who are sociopathic and psychopathic because they're showing signs of sociopathy and psychopathy. And everybody's just like, oh, well, they're just kind of like that. No, honey, they're undiagnosed. They're undiagnosed. And truthfully, being in business for yourself, with yourself, and then managing a team has enough stressors and challenges. The last thing you want to be is mentally unwell because mentally unwell leaders create psychologically unsafe cultures. And we don't need that. We don't need that. So maybe the message for you is not about FIFA, is that message I just gave you. But ultimately, if there's going to be 500,000 international visitors, up to 500,000, somewhere between 490 to 500,000 visitors in your city, or in a city you're close to, or in a city you can get to, or in a city you have cousins in, or something, there is an opportunity here for everybody. Whether you're in education, transportation, transformation, whatever, there's opportunities here if you're willing to think it through. Now, if you're like, Stephanie, I hear what you're saying. I don't have anybody to talk to. By all means, check out the link in my bio and we can talk about that. We can do a strategy call. It's 30 minutes. We can talk about what you do, what the possibilities are. I'll pull loads of data. I'll give you what you need. And if that means after that you need a fractional, okay, great. If it means after that you feel good and you can go forth, then good. My work is done. But I really want to see you capitalize on things that are coming into your city. And this is a large scale event, right? This is a large scale event. But there are other things that come into your market, or there are other opportunities that you can create in your market that you're not doing. And you can be honest about that. You can be honest about that. But what happens when you begin to think about how we can win? How do we win with this? Do we need to talk to our friends at our local chamber? Do you need to talk to somebody that does XYZ? Do not be afraid to collaborate. Let me say that. I can't say that enough. Don't be afraid to collaborate. Whatever fears you have, put them on paper. Talk it through. Sign an agreement, even if you're friends. Listen, one of the biggest mistakes you'll make with in your business is doing business with a friend or familiar person and not putting anything on paper. No agreement, no terms, nothing. Nothing's on paper. So then what? Everybody's just kind of trying to figure out what they remember. And that can get really, really dangerous. You know why my nose is itching. My nose itches, and this used to happen when I was on TikTok a lot. My nose will itch when I'm saying something meaningful. So it's meaningful, it's itching, it's doing the things, right? Absolutely. So think about, let me leave you with a few things because of course, I've gotta run. Think about what people will need emotionally and practically during this time. Number one thing you might be able to offer is convenience. What does that look like? What kind of convenience? If you know somebody that owns a hotel, how could you get into that? If you know somebody like that owns the Wonder Stay, we have independently owned hotels and Airbnbs, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe you should talk to your friend that has 10 Airbnbs. It's still itching, y'all. It's still itching, y'all. Maybe you should talk to your friend that has all those Airbnbs or those VRBOs or whatever, and see if there's an opportunity to collaborate there. If you're a transportation company, maybe you become the official transportation company for that particular hotel. If you have a fleet of vehicles, that could be awesome. Maybe you set up your food truck or you set up food in the lobby of the hotel. That's going to help a lot. People coming in, the last thing they want to do is try to figure out what to eat. Maybe you do that. Maybe you set up some sort of a concierge. Those of you who are interested in giving back, huge opportunities there. Conversations, health screenings, so many things, communication, celebration, access, speed, community, souvenirs, style, wellness, so many things, right? Has anybody had a conversation with the maker of the soccer balls? Is there an opportunity there? Does anybody ever think about that? So ultimately, whether you do anything with FIFA or not, again, this is an opportunity for you to think more highly about how you're doing business and how you're seizing opportunities for growth, revenue, and increased profitability. That's what it is. That's it. That's all. And again, just because you're not a hotel or a food truck or, whatever, that doesn't mean that you cannot capitalize on this. It does not mean that it's not an opportunity for you. So again, if you want to sit down and have a strategy call, we absolutely can. If I can give you what you need and you go off and you do like something stupendous and you have $100,000 day, well, yay, I'm excited for you. Because part of the work that I do is deeply steeped in an obsession with seeing people win. So if I can say something, do something, pull some data, put together something that will help you do that, then I'm happy to do so. And that is why that 30-minute strategy call exists. For those of you who are decision makers, who want to have a conversation with somebody, maybe you don't have a team yet, or maybe you do, and the team isn't functioning the way you think that it should, then let's have a conversation. And for those of you that say, oh, I'm not ready for FIFA and I'm not ready for fractional, great. I've got something called Founder Mind. I think you're going to love it. So nevertheless, I truly believe that businesses are leaving, Houston businesses are going to leave money on the table. The best thing I can tell you today is don't let that be you. So to answer the question, can founders and business owners turn FIFA 2026 into real revenue? Absolutely. It's just going to take a little bit of stepping out of your comfort zone, examining the market, examining what you bring to the market and what opportunities legitimately are available to you. All right. Don't force it. It'll come, you don't have to make it happen. What do I always say? Don't make it hard, just make it happen. That's it. That's all. See you on the next one. Bye.
Have you been on a weight loss journey and the scale just isn't giving you the results you hoped for? Well, meet Thinner, an FDA-registered, all-natural, homeopathic approach that addresses the root causes of how to lose weight and keep it off, especially if hormones are an issue. If you're tired of all of the guesswork and doing it alone, scan the QR code for more info, and let's get you started today.